Acorn squash with apples recipe.
I think the first thing you're going to do is remove the stickers.
That's correct.
You don't want to wash the stickers, it makes it harder to peel later.
Absolutely.
I see, what are you doing here, Chef?
I am cutting my lemon in half.
And I noticed that you're juicing it kind of uniquely. And most people wouldn't think about this, but you're juicing with the flesh side down, skin side up.
That's correct. So I want the juice to go through the juicer, hopefully keeping any seeds from going into my measuring cup.
And you also get the maximum yield of juice from that too.
Absolutely. Oh, but look what I did, Chef.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah. Let's go and get those seeds out by using that juicer.
I think that's genius.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It seems like you're tearing out your pan here so you get an even weight on your apples.
Yes. With a scale, I'm going to put a pan on top of my scale and zero it out. Here I am again, Chef, taking them stickers off. Gotta love that fresh fruit with stickers on it.
Yeah, you really don't want those stickers wet. It's so much harder to peel. So you doing it before you wash it is fantastic.
I absolutely agree. But making sure we always wash our vegetables and fruits. While I'm washing these, you can see I am removing the stems. We don't want a part of that in our dish.
So much harder to pull out when you use the sectionizer. And I see you're dividing them, taking out the core, dividing them into segments.
Yes. Makes it easier when I take this over to our continuous feeder and I go ahead and I set it up with the dicing grid and the 10mm blade to create a small dice for this dish.
I do like how you made sure that the words on the dicing grid was facing out.
Yes, that's very important. If not, they're not going to cut into the dice correctly.
It's amazing how fast this machine is. Now, I noticed you weren't smashing the apples down.
That's correct. The actual piece of equipment do its job. I'm not going to force it because we don't want to make applesauce. We're trying to do diced apples.
Yeah, let gravity do the work for you. Work smarter, not harder.
That's correct. I agree with that.
Oh man, that's money on that grid right there. What are you doing, Chef?
Chef, we use every bit that we can. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this all up, get all the diced apples from the Hobart. I'm going to use this little brush that we have to get all the pieces out through the grid, cleaning it out perfectly just like so.
And I love how you're not actually smashing that grid against the table or against the pan, making sure it's retaining its shape.
Yes, you definitely don't want to smash. That's a very expensive piece of equipment.
What are you doing here?
That is our antioxidant solution that you can find on one source that keeps fruits from turning brown.
Now, I love the mise en place. What are you measuring out?
I have our canola oil, and then I'm going to come in with some light brown sugar. And Chef, I'm going to make sure that I pack down this light brown sugar. That way we get an even measurement.
Yeah, you really want to maximize those flavors, and anytime you deviate from the recipe, it definitely impacts the flavor of the food.
That's correct. We're going to come in with some salt, iodized that is.
Mm-hmm. And I love how you're making sure that the salt is to the brim of the spoon, but not overheaping it to get that nice even measurements. Again, I like your technique here.
Thank you. This is our chipotle cinnamon. And we're really going to break in those fall flavors here with using some dried thyme as well as some dry sage.
You know, they say sage is the wisest herb of them all. All right, what's that liquid there?
That's lemon juice, Chef. That's going to give us a little bit of brightness for our dish, a little bit of tang, a little bit of spark.
Oh man, I also call that muscle juice because I saw those muscles working earlier when you squeezed it.
Yeah.
All right, adding your acorn squash here and draining your apples from the antioxidant solution.
That's correct. And if you notice, that is a chinois, but if you don't have a chinois, a strainer will work just as well.
I love how you let it drain a little bit before you added it so you didn't have that unneeded moisture diluting the flavors of this food.
That's correct. Plus, that solution has a lot of salt in it, so we don't want to add any more salt to this dish.
Nice technique, gently folding. You want to explain what that is?
A folding technique is when you gently mix items together without bruising or smashing them together. And to this large sheet tray, Chef, I'm going to add some Vaseline spray. That way it is not sticking and ruining our product after roasting. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go ahead and add our product to this full sheet tray and spread it evenly using a plastic spatula and put it into the oven.
I do notice that you didn't use any oven paper here. I think that's kind of important when people read the recipes to know when to use parchment paper and when not to.
That's correct. We want to get some color on our vegetables, so in order to do that, parchment paper is not needed.
350 at 30 minutes?
Yes, 350 for 30 minutes. And I'm going to then remove this from the oven, transfer the acorn squash and apples to a 2-inch steam table pan using a plastic spatula and cover.
Mm-hmm. Adding it to the hot holding cabinet?
Yes, I'm going to place it in the hot holding cabinet, ready for service. And then when I'm ready to serve this dish, I'm going to use a number 8 scoop with a 5-ounce Avex dish. And there we go, Chef. Beautiful.
Beautiful indeed.